Here are 5 things that are destroying your hair. And trust me, as a bald guy, oh wait, never mind, scratch that. Bruh. As a professional hairstylist for over 30 years, I've seen a few things. I've made a bunch of notes here on my phone that I'm going to be referring to. Plus, I'm going to be sharing my experiences, some things that I think are kind of BS. So let's get into it. Here is the first one. The first one is using too much heat. So a lot of you talk about, oh, I don't want to use heat because it's going to damage my hair. I'm anti-blow dryer. I don't want to go near that. Well, it's not really the heat as much, but it's how you're using it. And I've said this millions of times, well, not millions, but a lot of times as a professional who's blow dried thousands of human beings and even mannequin heads that have human hair, I've never destroyed or burnt anyone's hair from using heat on it. Now, where the challenge comes in is if you're using the heat or the hot tool incorrectly, that is really going to be a problem for you, AKA having the blow dryer sit on the hair or on the brush for a long time, having that nozzle just really staying there and just burning, and it's like overcooking a piece of food or chicken or steak. You're frying it real time. So you have to constantly keep the brush and the blow dryer moving so that you're not keeping that heat targeted in one area. That goes for when you're using a smoothing iron or a flat iron. If you just hold it there, it's like, imagine if you take a hot iron when you're ironing a shirt, you may burn right through the shirt or it'll catch on fire. It's the same thing with your hair. You're literally singeing your hair the more you are just keeping that heat in one spot. That's why it's important to go, slow and consistent. Don't just have that hot tool stuck in one place. Also, if you use products like maybe my 25 spray in the hair that has protection for your hair, and then you blow dry it, then you'll be in better shape. And also, never use a curling iron or a smoothing iron on wet hair. Your hair has to be fully dried so you don't damage it. Here's the next one. This is a big one, is washing your hair too often or too little. So this is another myth I see going around for, it's been going on for a long time, is, oh, I haven't washed my hair in 2 months and it looks better than ever, or I wash my hair, 3 times a day. I mean, here's the thing. Wash your hair as needed, okay? And if your hair feels dirty, if your hair feels super oily, and you're having issues with your hair not growing as fast, or it looks or smells bad, wash your hair to be clean. I've never heard of anyone dying from washing their hair too often, okay, or having any sort of health issues from washing their hair too often. Too little, however, that the scalp can get very, I don't want to say it's like oily and greasy, and the follicle can get clogged. So it's going to help, it's going to stop the growth, I would say, or growing it as much. It's like really condensing that oil into the follicle, and it's like not really good for the hair. It's not healthy for it. So if you let that oil build up over time, it's just not really good for your hair, all right? It's like clogging something. You don't want to do that, all right? So I would say wash as often as needed. Now, if you overwash your hair, this is the other thing, you can be stripping away those natural oils. So there is a good balance to, you don't want to be drying your scalp out. You want to make sure that, I always say every 2 to 3 days is ideal to wash your hair. 2 days is fine. You don't need to wash it every day unless you are working some sort of job or doing something where you're sweating excessively, or just there's so much going on that it's just disgusting. Then wash it. There's no big deal. All right, so wash as needed. And what happens is, the next thing is the shampoos that you're using. Now, I know there's all these these thirst trap TikTokers and making shampoos and trying to, lure you in, whatever, that's fine. But here's the thing. It does come down to using a good quality product, right? I've worked for 2 of the largest, I don't want to say largest anymore, but very large beauty companies in my career. And I've used shampoos from them that, Allure Magazine's best volume shampoo and GQ Magazine's best this, and I go and try them, and I'm like, it makes the hair feel like straw. So I can assure you and guarantee you that my shampoos, I have shampoos and conditioners, 3 different types, that they make your hair feel so healthy that you sometimes don't even need conditioner. So when you use a shampoo that makes your hair feel that good, that you don't need a conditioner for it to make it feel soft, then that's a good quality shampoo, and mine are extremely good quality, and they all have health benefits that are very specific to growing healthier hair, to fixing scalp issues. So those are really, really important. Now, talking about scalp health, that's another thing that's really important, your actual scalp health. So a dry, flaking hair, like scalp, if you have scalp issues, that could also lead to hair loss, right? That's something where you need probably my hemp set, my hemp shampoo and hemp conditioner, because it has really, really strong healing properties, something that's really, really good for your scalp. So what you want to do is, when you're washing your hair, just make sure you're exfoliating the scalp and you're really massaging the scalp. Don't just wash like your outer layer of hair. Get down to the scalp and make sure you are getting those benefits of the hemp shampoo and the hemp conditioner, so to make sure that you're keeping your scalp moisturized. And if you are having serious issues like psoriasis or things like that, you may want to go see a doctor to fix that up. But I have heard directly from customers of mine and friends that using my hemp set has really cured up a lot of their scalp issues. All right, so make sure you're protecting your scalp. Using the wrong hair products. Now here's something that I think, here's somewhat of a myth to this. There's people out there that are selling you on, oh, I have 1.5 ingredients in my hair clay. I'm like, okay. I have never seen in my career or heard of anyone dying from a hair clay, getting any sort of disease or illness from using a hair paste in my career. And I'm going back to where years and years ago, natural wasn't even a thing. It was just, oh, here's a hair gel, use it. There could have been awful chemicals in it. I've never seen anyone have any sort of health issues from using those types of old products where no one cared about really ingredients. It was all just about the performance. And so that's where I can assure you, once again, as a professional, yes, I make sure that my products have good quality ingredients that have good benefits. But if it needs a certain preservative to make sure that mold and bacteria aren't growing in it for a year or a year and a half, well, guess what? I'm going to have those used because I want to protect your health because I don't want things to happen, because a lot of these natural ingredients, they have a shelf life of like 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because they're all natural, and all natural can only do so much. You know what I mean? So I'm okay, and it's not, again, people think, oh, it's harsh chemicals. Certain products out there, yes, are garbage. They'll make your hands feel very dry. They'll make your ends of your hair maybe feel a little flaky and somewhat dry, like certain hairsprays and things. But I'm telling you right now, like hairsprays, or alcohol-free products, yeah, those help, but sometimes the alcohol is what's giving the hold, right? And it's allowing the hair product to do what it needs to do. So yes, natural is, it's okay, it's definitely good, but don't be so fooled by marketing of, oh, my product contains, less than 1 ingredient. It's just water and some magical powder. It's like, what? Like, what's that gonna even do? So don't get hung up by these people who have never spent a day as a professional hairstylist, or have buddies who are hairstylists, or they buy a hair salon to make it seem like they've been a hair professional for 20 years. That doesn't do anything. Like, I have hands-on experience with thousands of customers. Yes, I have seen customers fry their hair from using like really bad quality hairsprays and holding the hair dryer like right where the spray is going in and frying the hair from the heat, damaging it with hot tools. Yes, I've seen that before, and that could cause some damage, again, using it improperly. And then here are some habits, some bad hair habits that are also destroying your hair. Brushing your hair with the wrong tool, aka if you're using this, a hair cutting comb, and this is all you have, and you're stripping and combing and yanking your hair with the fine teeth and ripping, and you look and you go, oh, why is my hair falling out? There's hairs everywhere. Well, guess what? You're literally ripping the hair out of your scalp, right? You're breaking your hair. So what you need to do is make sure you're using And I have all these brushes. I have an anti-static wide, like a nice anti-static vent brush that has wider teeth. It's great for combing out knots. I have a carbon comb. You can use, a paddle brush, any sort of brush that if you're gonna comb your hair, make sure you're doing it the right way. Like my 25 spray, again, for example, it's great for detangling hair. It's so conditioning that it gets the knots right out. So make sure you're combing your hair with the proper tool while your hair is wet. Also, sleeping with your hair wet. What I think a lot of times is, hair is at its most fragile state when it's wet like that, right? So if you're sleeping and tossing and turning, you could be maybe losing some extra hair, or you could be creating creases in your hair and causing shapes in your hair that when you wake up, you're like, oh my gosh, you have to then re-wet your hair and then blow dry it properly. So I always say, I'm not a big fan of sleeping with your hair wet unless you're putting your hair in like rollers or you're setting it somehow, but don't sleep with your hair soaking wet. Super tight ponytails, I've seen that as an issue. If you're constantly pulling your hair back, I've seen clients over the years where I'm like, oh my gosh, the hair, and their ponytails, they're spraying it down with hairspray, and then they're blow drying it on and combing and yanking, and all of a sudden I start to see the hair kind of go back in the corners a little bit, or their front hairline, the hair is breaking a bit, and I'm like, you're destroying your hair. So be very careful when you're doing those extreme styles that, again, you're using the right tools, the right brushes, and you're not just singeing and frying the hair. So, it's another one of the things. And I would say just brush your hair regularly using the wide tooth comb, the carbon comb, my anti-static vent brush. Just lightly brush out your hair to get through the knots. And don't ever just comb your hair with a hair cutting comb. Again, it's not really the greatest for your hair. If you do see hairs coming out, well, it could be that. I get a question all the time, Salon Guy, why am I seeing all these hairs coming out? Well, how are you combing your hair? Oh, I just take a comb and I just kind of rip at it, and I'm like, well, listen to what you're saying. So those are my top 5, things to stop you from damaging your hair. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to purchase any of my products, you can use code YouTube20, which is an exclusive code. I have all sorts of products, from digital ebook downloads to hair dryers and 25 spray and seats, all that stuff. I have a whole range of products that are unisex. Shop.thesalonguy.com, YouTube20. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.